Painters of the Caves by Patreicia Lauber. A Great Discovery. One chilly afternoon in December 1994, three old friends met to go exploring. Two men and a woman shared a great enthusiasm, searching for caves in the limestone hills near Avignon, in southeast France. Limestone is fairly soft rock. Long ago, over many years, the Ardèche River carved deep gorges in these hills, creating cliffs of limestone. The cliffs are honeycombed with caves, some hollowed out by underground rivers, some by rainwater that sank in and dissolved the limestone. For thousands of years, starting in the Stone Age, people used these caves and left behind traces of themselves. In their exploring, the three friends had found several caves with traces of wall art done by Stone Age painters. They hoped to find more, but what they found that December day was something they had only dreamed about. They followed an ancient mule path up a cliff and arrived at a narrow ledge. An opening in the cliff led to a pile of rocks where they could feel air coming out, the sign of a cave. Tearing away the rocks, they uncovered a small passageway, just big enough for a person to wriggle through. Exploring caves is dangerous. It is all too easy to get stuck, to take a bad fall, to become lost. But the three had 20 years of experience and they had come equipped with lights, ropes, and a ladder. They pressed ahead. The woman went first, lying on her stomach. At the end of the passageway was a 30-foot drop to the cave floor. Their ladder took them down. The cave was so big that darkness swallowed their lights, they could hardly see the walls. Moving with care, they came to a place where the floor of the cave was strewn with bare bones and teeth, where bears had dug hollows to hibernate, and moments later they saw a drawing of a little red mammoth on a spur of rock. As they looked around, a 3-foot-high bear loomed before them on a white wall. Discovery followed discovery: a huge red rhinoceros, a big mammoth, a bear or lion, human handprints stenciled on the walls. They had made a truly great discovery. The cave, named Chauvet after one of the explorers, holds more than 300 paintings of animals that lived some 32,000 years ago, late in the Stone Age: horses, bears, hyenas, woolly rhinos, mammoths, bison, wild cattle, lions, deer, panthers, mountain goats. Drawn in black, red, and yellow, they parade across rock walls, sometimes leaping or running. Chauvet is far from the only cave with Stone Age wall paintings. Most such caves lie to the west, in southwest France and northern Spain. Some are found elsewhere in Europe and on other continents from Africa to Australia. But Chauvet is one of the biggest and best, and it is the oldest known. Because its original entrance had been blocked by a rockfall, no one else had visited the cave for thousands of years. The names of the cave artists are long lost. They could not sign their names, because they lived before writing was invented. But we do know something about them. They were people like us, modern human beings. Their story has been pieced together by scientists who study ancient peoples. Part of the story is told by fossils, which are traces of ancient life. A fossil can be many things. The footprints of Stone Age artists who worked in the caves are fossils, as are the footprints of children who played there. But most fossils are skulls, bones, and teeth, hard parts of the body that were preserved when rock formed around them. Another part of the story is told by stone tools and other objects that people left behind and that, in time, became buried under dust, dirt, and rock. The first modern humans to live in Europe are sometimes called Cro-Magnons, for the rock shelter in France where their fossils and stone tools were first found. More often today, they are called early modern humans. They arrived in the Middle East and Europe during the Ice Age. People of the Ice Age. There are times when, in the far places of the earth, more snow falls in winter than the summer sun can melt. In these places, polar lands and lofty mountains, the snow builds up over thousands of years. Under the weight of new snow, the old packs down into ice. Finally, under great weight, the ice begins to flow. Mountain glaciers reach down into valleys. Sheets of ice spread over the land. Once green lands are swallowed by ice a mile or more thick. Winds blowing over the ice reach far away. Winters are long and cold. Summers are short and cool. These times are known as ice ages. Each time, ice advanced over the land for thousands of years before the climate warmed. Then the towering sheets of ice melted and shrank, releasing floods of water. In the warming climate, life came back to land left bare by ice. Then, once more, the ice began to build. The last period of great growth began about 115,000 years ago and ended 10,000 years ago. It is known as the Ice Age. During the Ice Age there were many swings of climate, times when temperatures rose, melting ice for a few hundred years, until the cold returned. With each change in climate, plant life changed. As the ice advanced, forests gave way to grasslands, then grasslands became tundra, frozen land where only sedges, mosses, and lichens grew. When the ice shrank and land thawed, grasslands spread and then forests took root. As plant life moved north or south, animals moved in search of food. People followed the animals. It was during the Ice Age, probably about 100,000 years ago, that modern humans began to spread out of Africa, where they had first appeared. They went on, most scientists think, to inhabit the world, becoming the ancestors of us all. One group stayed in the Middle East, where they overlapped with an earlier people. These earlier people were the Neanderthals, who are named for the Neander Valley in Germany, where their fossils were first discovered. The two groups looked very different. Neanderthals were short and stocky, with barrel chests, big bones, and strong muscles. A Neanderthal face had a ridge of bone across the brow, both the forehead and the chin sloped backward. The early modems were built like us. They were taller and slimmer, with smaller faces and steep foreheads. Their jaws were short and had chins. So far, there is no way to tell if the Neanderthals and modems of the Middle East knew each other. No one is even sure that they lived in the same places at the same times. Some scientists think that in colder periods the moderns may have drifted south, toward Africa, while in warmer periods the Neanderthals may have drifted north. Other scientists think the two shared the Middle East. Perhaps each thought the other looked strange, and they kept apart. No fossils suggest that they fought during the 50,000 years they were both in the Middle East. For much of the time, the two lived the same way. They hunted animals and gathered plant foods. They made the same sorts of stone tools, which served as knives, scrapers, axes, and perhaps spear points. They used fire to warm themselves, and for cooking for a long time, they seem to have been evenly matched, with equal skills and tools. And then a big change took place in the modem